break is winding down, and that means it is time for those kids to head back into the classroom. Today we are helping you make that transition as smooth as possible, from reestablishing routines to setting a tone for a strong second half. With some expert tips and more is founder of Amore Learning, Chloe Kaplan. Chloe, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So this is something that I think parents have on their minds as we return from winter break. What would you say are some good kind of routines parents can establish to help their kids get back into the swing of things?
This is such a great question, and I'm going through it myself right now. I have an 11-year-old at home, and all rules have just gone to the wayside over break. So we're trying to ease back into it. He was on his iPad at 11:30 last night. He goes back to school on same. And he goes back on Monday. And so last night I was like, okay, so we gotta ease back into this, and how are we going to do it? And I think there's some simple ways. One of them is just going little by little every night. So like if bedtimes have been, rules are cast off during the break, then we want to ease back by maybe it's a half hour earlier tonight, a half hour earlier tomorrow night, and then finally by the time that they go back to school, which for many is Monday and for many was today.
Very true.
Yes. Then we can get ahead of it that way. That's bedtime. I mean, there's a whole slew of ways that we need to ease them back, but that's the one that I think is on most people's minds.
Absolutely. So it sounds like it's easier to kind of ease kids back into a routine than just say, okay, go to bed 2 hours earlier.
I think for most kids that works the best.
Yeah.
There are the kids that are just like, okay, we're just gonna do a crash course, and we're gonna pull all the things and just get it all done in one day, and you're going back tomorrow, and that's the way that it is. But I think in general, easing back in is the best way.
And speaking of which, would you recommend a approach for parents where they're either kind of, going easy on kids a little bit, or like, okay, do that homework again, really drive into it?
Also a great question, and I think it really depends on the family and the child. So if your goals are for your kid to really hit the pavement when it comes to academics, and so maybe they are brushing up on skills, they need to get ahead, and it's really not a time for playing games, then I think having those serious conversations with your kids and with their teachers, just to let the child know, we're on the same page as your teacher here, you've got some catch up to do. And but also giving them agency. So how do you want to do that catch up? Does that look like staying after school for an hour with a teacher that can accommodate, there are a million different ways that you can get the kid the help that they need, but letting them choose what's going to work best for them to brush up on those strategies. I think and then there are some families who are just, the goal is not to get their kid back up to speed, it's just to have them be happy and out of the home just well adjusted and in the classroom. So again, really depends on the specific needs of the child and the family's goals for them.
That makes total sense. And I do think, to your point about giving kids the option, like it helps, when a kid feels they have a little bit of control in the situation, makes it easier, I think, to transition back to the more, scheduled school life.
Absolutely. It's all about kind of like tricking them into making the right choice for themselves,
even
though the choices you're giving are both choices that are happy for you.
Right. No,
you choose the choices and they choose the choice.
You know what? Boom. There we go. So talk to me a little bit about Amore Learning and how people can find out more and get in touch with you.
Sure. So Amore is a boutique education company. We do everything under the sun. We're sort of a one-stop shop for all your education needs. We do educational consulting, so meeting with parents to strategize about goals. Maybe it's school selection, maybe it's a question like, do you have your child repeat a grade? Anything that's on parents' minds, we walk them through. We do tutoring, which is all really creative and individualized. And then we partner with schools to run after-school classes. So we're currently working with about 30 different schools, DC and in New York, and just bringing fun, inspiring after-school classes that kids are excited to take, and putting the love in learning. So that's Amore.
Putting a love in learning, hence the name,
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for this great advice. Do you have a website people can go to?
We're amorelearning.com. We're Amore Learning on Instagram, and I'm Chloe at amorelearning.com. And I love hearing from the community. I'm a 4th generation Washingtonian. I live down the street. I love hearing from everyone. So
fantastic.
Yeah,
well, Chloe, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ellen.
Great advice.
Great to be here.
Happy 2025.
You too.